So,
Hi.
Tyler Keith plugged on. We're here with a review. We saw Metallica and Volbeat.
Yep. At Philly, Lincoln Financial Field.
Yeah.
Fucking football stadium.
Eagles football stadium. What a monstrosity of a place.
Yeah, it looks weird.
It's a hideous looking place from the outside, but whatever. When you're inside, I mean, it's a stadium. Yeah, this is Metallica's first full U.S. tour in like a fucking eternity.
8 years.
Probably since their last album. I saw them once in 2009, so it's been a very long time for me. You never saw them before.
This is my first time ever seeing Metallica.
Yeah, so very much looking forward to this show. Avenged Sevenfold was supposed to play, but I guess having a child is important. You know?
Yeah.
Sinister Gaze had to fly home. And
family's important.
Yeah,
so.
And because his wife went into labor early, unexpectedly, so they missed out on playing. So that's kind of stinks, but, you know, it was still a really great show. They would have just made it probably better.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, they would have just made it like a bit better, just because.
And also maybe a little bit less of Mixmaster Mike. I don't know.
Hopefully.
Yeah.
What if he was actually supposed to play more? Like, he was supposed to play in between each band.
I don't know. Anyways, yeah. When I saw Metallica in 2009, they played arenas. You know, basketball, hockey arenas.
Like the Wells Fargo Center.
Yeah.
Essentially, which is like right next door to where we were at.
Yeah, so now they're playing football stadiums, which is pretty cool, and I mean, there was a shitload of people there. For a while, it wasn't looking too good, and I was like, ooh.
Well, especially, which kind of sucks for them, especially like during Volbeat, it wasn't as full. But then, like when you looked around when Metallica was actually there, like a good bit of the floor was open. I mean, was filled, and then. Most of the seats were filled, so
yeah. We were very, very high up. But you know what?
We're about as high up as you could go. But
yeah, it was alright. I liked it. Got a good view of kind of everything, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
I was gonna say something. Anyways, so before Volbeat played, and after Volbeat played, before Metallica played, there's this guy named Mixmaster Mike, who is like a DJ. And does mixes of various metal and rock songs. Kind of feel bad for this guy.
I don't think anybody gave a shit about what he was doing.
No, and I don't. You know, he wasn't meant to be a main act or anything like that. Just kind of in between entertainment instead of just playing music. But honestly, that would have been better.
Yeah.
If they would have just played music through, you know, the speakers like traditionally at a show. Yeah,
it just didn't fit.
No, it just doesn't fit, and it's just completely the wrong crowd for that type of stuff, and that's why I feel bad for him, because you're like, here's a crowd that's 95% there for just Metallica.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, there's younger people, but there's probably a lot of older people there too that just don't give a shit about that stuff.
Yeah.
They don't like that stuff. They're very traditional with what they're hearing. And here you're taking classic songs that all these people enjoy, and you're just chopping them up in not a very great fashion that fits. Like, I felt like when he does his little thingamabobber on his
it
DJ
did
table,
work sometimes.
it was just off flow. It was like a drummer with no rhythm.
There was a couple times where I'm like, okay, yeah, that makes sense. But then there would be like times when he would just like if there was like a riff playing, you just cut the riff back and you just like put it in a weird spot. I'm like,
yeah,
what's happening?
Yeah, it just, yeah, there just wasn't a lot of rhythm and flow to things, and it's like it was kind of hard to listen to be honest with you. It kind of sucked, and I just can't imagine being in his position where you're up on stage and there is thousands and thousands of people out in the crowd that literally do not give a fuck about what you want, what you're doing, and especially in Philadelphia, dude. If they don't like people, you better get the fuck out, man. Because the first time he ended, there was a number of boos. There were some applauses, but you could hear the boos out in the crowd. So I mean, I do feel bad for him, but I mean, it is what it is. It just doesn't fit, to be honest with you. Anyways, on to Volbeat. Volbeat opened up the show. Second time I've seen Volbeat.
First time I've seen Volbeat too.
They're alright. They're way better than the first time I saw them. They got to play about an hour.
Yeah, it was really cool because like Volbeat's a bigger band, so maybe not for that kind of setting. Probably again maybe arenas maybe not. But because and again like we said, most of the people were probably there for Metallica. So of course some people didn't come in until right before Metallica came on. So I mean that kind of sucks for them because they are a pretty big and popular band, and then that's kind of like a very like sobering, almost like shitty situation to just be like, okay, yeah, we're here, we're pretty big, but nobody really. But there's a lot of people who just don't care. Yeah. It's like, then they played a lot of like the big songs. I mean, they opened with Devil's Bleeding Crown and played Seal the Deal and like Warrior's Call, Heaven nor Hell. They played Dead But Rising, which I liked because I really like that song. And they played two Johnny Cash. Well, they played two Johnny Cash songs. They played Ring of Fire, which was okay, and then they did Sad Man's Tongue, which, if you don't know Johnny Cash, I can understand how you could get lost listening to that. But it was kind of cool. I'm like, oh yeah, okay, I recognize the song. And I was like, oh, I'm not too familiar with Volbeat, so I don't know if that's like an actual cover they've done, and it's like on an album somewhere, if they just did this live. I mean, either way, I thought it was kind of a cool thing to do. But yeah, there's not really too much. Like I said, I'm not the biggest Volbeat fan, so I can't really comment on how each individual song sounded comparatively, like if they messed it up or anything. They kind of chopped up a couple of their songs, like Heaven nor Hell and A Warrior's Call were like all both cut in half, which I thought was a little weird because those are two of their bigger songs. I figured if any songs you'd let those kind of be longer, but
yeah, they were fun. They were entertaining for sure, and they were fine. I'm just not a huge Volbeat fan, and so I don't really listen to these guys a lot. I mean, I know their hits for sure. The only thing I'll say is I'm sure he sounded fine, but their vocalist, like, and he did sound fine, but like if you aren't a huge Volbeat fan and you don't like know the lyrics and stuff, dude, he can be extremely hard to understand live. Just almost like he could just make fucking noises into the mic, and I couldn't even tell the difference. But I mean, he was fine. They're fine. They're fun. They're good at what they do. They're just not really my thing.
Yeah.
And they performed fine. Yeah. I mean, they have some tight riffs. I like Seal the Deal.
Yeah, that one was cool.
That
I think they cleaned their sound up a little bit later on. Like early on, things at least to me sounded like a little muddled together, and there was kind of sound problems the whole day, especially on like our side. It sounded like either the speakers were like somehow shifting, or like it would get quiet on the speakers that were blasting toward our side, or they would get louder sometimes.
Yeah, I don't know if that was really sound problems as much as it might just be like this situation. Like they're having to
acoustics.
Yeah, they're having to fill an entire open
I
stadium, and we're high up, and it was also windy and stuff. So that could play into it, but who knows? Maybe they were having problems because Metallica kind of had the same problem where it was like guitars would fade left to right, and it sounded really weird, and the drums would like disappear and come back, and weird shit. But I imagine if you were on the floor or down lower in the front or something, probably sounded fine. Yeah. But who knows? Anyways, Volbeat, they're fun. I almost feel bad for any band opening for Metallica in a way, because everybody that's there, like whether you're playing well, whether they like who you are, they want to see Metallica.
Yeah.
And it's almost just like get the fuck off the stage kind of deal. Yeah. Metallica was next. They were fucking amazing.
It was really cool. So for my first time seeing Metallica, it was really cool because like they played just about every song that's like that like in my head I'm like they kind of have to play this. I think the only songs that I kind of missed out that I kind of was like, they should have played this was like Blacken would have been cool. Fuel, but I guess they're alternating that and Creeping Death on certain dates of the tour, because at least in the Baltimore date they played Fuel instead of Creeping Death. And then there's very rare chance that the song would get played, but I mean, it's, one of my favorite Metallica songs, and I know it's one of your favorites. They would have played Justice. That would have been awesome. But like,
that would be awesome.
But I understand that like, especially in that kind of a thing, not many people are going to be that into that style of Metallica. Yeah. So I get why they did it, but it's just like,
yeah.
They played 5 songs from the new album. They opened with Hardwired, which I figured. Then they did Atlas Rise, and they did Now That We're Dead, Moth into Flame, and Halo on Fire, which that was actually really cool to see live.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of a new appreciation for that song after seeing, because I was like, when the album came out, I was like, hey, this song's pretty good, but it's like, this song's pretty good. And now I'm like, that's one of that could be up there on like a top like 10 list on like one of the best Metallica songs written. Like, I thought it was really cool.
Yeah.
And just like their whole stage setup was really cool. So like they had like the main stage, and they had like a ring. Volbeat had it too, where like they had people in the middle, but then they could kind of go out and get closer to the crowd, which was cool. And then they had like 5 screens up, and they would play members of the band, and they would also have like cool things happening on the screen at the same time, like stuff from some of the music videos, like The Unforgiven, which they played, which was I was honestly sort of surprised. I'm like, I mean, I know that's a big song. Like, I figured they might have made room for something else, and then, or like Sandman, or like during Creeping Death, they kind of had like it was kind of like it was like a blood pool. Like half the part of the screen was black and white, the other screen was like tinted red. It looked really cool.
Mm-hmm.
Or during Puppets, they had like crosses that were spinning, and each of the main faces of the cross would have like the video feed. So they had like a lot of cool stuff like that, plus pyro and all that stuff, which there was a lot of pyro and a lot of fireworks.
Yeah.
The one there, Moth into Flame, even though it was probably so simple, was really cool. How they just had like like just the flames just kind of creeping across the whole length of the stage, which looked pretty cool. But yeah, they played like everything. They played Fade to Black, Battery, which was didn't 100% expect. Probably even more surprised was they played Motor Breath.
Yeah.
Like that's a deep Metallica cut. I'm like, that's. So it's like, but that's like, oh wow, like, they can just rip that one out of the bag and just be like, yeah, we're gonna play this song. Fuck it.
Mm-hmm.
It was really cool. And then, I'm not gonna go on because most Metallica songs they play, Bell from the Bell Tolls, Wherever I May Roam. They ended with Sandman, which I know at least on their previous tour they would end a lot with like Seek and Destroy, and then I know like back in the '90s they would end with Battery, and that was kind of how they did things. But like, so I was like, it was really cool. For my first experience in that kind of a setting, it was a very great first experience.
Yeah, it was honestly probably one of the best performances I've ever seen. I mean, it was just amazing to watch and to experience, because I've never seen a single show put on with this big of scale and production to it. I mean, just the amount of people it probably took to set up that stage and to make sure everything's running right and to do the sound and the video stuff. I mean, it's just crazy. And then you had the pyro, and sometimes at the end of the show they set off fireworks like it was the 4th of July.
Yeah.
It was fucking crazy. It's like, who does that? That's cool. Or when one started playing, they had these like lasers that would shoot down when the like right in the beginning when there's like gunfire and all kinds of stuff. The lasers would like go back and forth based off of the bullets, and sometimes they would flash these really white lights, almost like bombs were going off. And then later they set fireworks off when bombs were dropping. It was like that type of stuff is cool. And I mean, humans love fireworks. They love blowing shit up. So that's just cool to watch, They just did a lot of really entertaining stuff. Like,
right, I forgot about this.
When they played Now That We're Dead, they had 4 gigantic drums out there, and they all started going over and playing different rhythms based off of the song to make it sound like they're still playing the song. It's cool. And like, Lars was on his drum kit for a while, and it was just James and Kirk, and then Rob joined in, and then Lars got off his drum kit and joined, and it sounded really cool. It reminded me of like Godsmack does that stuff where they have like the singer and their drummer do like a dual drum solo type of thing. You know, this wasn't to that scale, but it still sounded really cool if you know, how Now That We're Dead goes. I mean, if you don't know that song, you might just be kind of like, what the fuck's going on? It still might be cool to you, but that was awesome to watch. I didn't expect that. I saw those things on the stage. I'm like, are those just like giant lights or something?
Yeah.
But then they started hitting them, like, oh, they're drums, and it just didn't go where I expected it to go, and it's cool. And the thing I like about seeing Metallica, and I mean, I've only seen them twice, but even when you watch live stuff on YouTube or something, it's just, they're really good at making every concert feel like special, of like they only did this here type of thing, or they just make it very memorable, you know, or like, oh, Kirk did that little stupid thing during whatever song, you know, that type of stuff is cool. And the way they do some of their songs live that they've been doing for 20 years now, you know, it's cool. And I mean, it was just phenomenal to watch. At first, when they started, I'm just like, I kind of can't believe that I'm watching Metallica again, because I've been wanting to see them forever, for so long, and it's like now it's here, and they're just kicking ass, and their new album's amazing, and it was awesome. I think a lot of their new songs went over really well. Live. I think they can be songs that they can whip out those songs no matter what. Even 10 years from now, if they're still going out, they can pull some of these songs out and people will like them, because their new album's just fantastic. And it was awesome. It's so cool, though, hearing some of the songs like The Unforgiven or Nothing Else Matters or something, or Wherever I May Roam, Sad But True, where like you can't even hear James Hetfield singing. Yeah. Or he just stops singing because he knows he doesn't really have to, and the whole crowd sings it. And it's just this, it's a football stadium full of people. Or it's like that just sounds so cool. I would have loved to have been like a fly on the wall somewhere outside of the stadium and just to hear from the outside, because I'm sure that just sounded fucking awesome.
There's a couple of times where I had to keep telling myself, because I'm just listening, and then like for a certain song, it would just sound like, wow, it seems like I would be like, wow, did they turn up the reverb on the vocals? It was like, no, that's just the crowd that I hear underneath James's vocals. I'm like, right, I forgot. Mm-hmm. Everybody knows these fucking songs, and it's really cool. I was kind of surprised. There was a couple points where maybe, and I can understand maybe because they're not some of the bigger songs, but like I was half surprised that there wasn't like a lot, like when even though it was kind of weird, and it just kind of it was weird, but it worked when Kirk and Rob started playing "I Disappear." Yeah. If there would have just been like boom, the crowd just starts singing along, and it's just like, and I was like, oh, okay, well, whatever. But I mean, it's really cool.
That was kind of awkward.
It's kind of awkward, but I'm like, ah, whatever. I'm like, oh, yeah, cool. It's this song. Hey, remember this song that we wrote that, like, nobody likes enough? It's like, we like this song, but we know that, like, it's not popular enough for us to get to play it ever.
Dude,
it's like,
if they would have played I Disappear, I would have fucking loved that. I love that song.
And I said this right before we went. That's why I want to see them again, but I even though they don't tour for fun in America. Like it's like, I mean, last time was when they were in support of an album. Mm-hmm. Yet they've toured Europe and everywhere else, pretty frequently over the last couple of years. Like just not in support of an album, just tour so that you get a wider variety. Because that was like the only thing was that like it seemed like it was all first 5 albums and then this album and then Hardwired. And it's like, oh, but what about like, I don't know, songs like I was thinking that Until It Sleeps would be cool to see live, or anything from like Garage Inc. or even Death Magnetic would be cool. I mean, not saying anger, but I mean, just
come on, dude,
a wider variety of just like stuff. I just feel like it'd be which I get because all their popular stuff, all their really popular stuff, is in their first 5 albums. But it's like just kind of play this weird song from over there, like whip out The Memory Remains, which is another song that's usually very popular. That's like, oh, I wish I would have seen live, but like, yeah. But otherwise, I mean, this was fantastic.
I'd say the only part of their set where I'm like when they played both their songs, it was fantastic. But they played Battery and then Nothing Else Matters right after. It's like, That is just weird to go to.
That's a weird
that
transition.
is literally polar opposite Metallica right there that you just did back to back. But I mean, hey, whatever.
I want to almost as a joke. I would love to go up to like, I mean, just any member of the band and ask them if they remember how to play the middle section to Battery, just because they never play it. And I was like, do you know how to play that? Like I get it because it's a weird part of the song and it's very short. So it's like, why not just skip it? But it's like, just to be funny.
Yeah, and I think performance-wise, everybody was really, really good. I think James Hetfield sounded awesome. Kirk Hammett did really well. The only solo, and I know he doesn't really do it, he hasn't really done it how they recorded it forever, that I'm like, damn it, is the final solo to Fade to Black. They just kind of like cut out a lot of it, and he plays like two parts of it, and I'm like, damn it, because I love that solo. That's one of my favorite solos ever, is that final solo to Fade to Black. But and then I mean Lars was really good too, except the little drum solo thing in Seek and Destroy was just
it's kind of
really
lost
weird.
a little bit.
I was like, okay. We kind of looked at each other like, it's
like, oh, come on,
whatever.
you always got it. But it's like, it's first off, you're playing. They played for like 2 hours. Yeah. First, playing for like 2 hours. These guys are like, good God, they're probably almost in their 60s. I think some of them actually are. So it's 50s. Like late 50s at least. So it's like these guys are getting up there. So it's like I'm not expecting perfection.
Right.
But it's like, and he did really well. Yeah. It's like, oh yeah, cool. It's like when he did get like all complex, it sounded really good.
Yeah. I mean, taking performance completely out of it, Lars Ulrich is probably one of the most entertaining live drummers to ever watch ever.
Yeah.
Because I love how he like sometimes just pops up out of his seats and starts hitting his cymbals, or he slams on his drums like standing up and stuff, and that type of stuff's fun, because most drummers, they're just like there, they do their job, and
he just doesn't. It's like how like he just kind of does whatever live, like he adds a bunch of fills, and it's like, oh yeah, he's just and honestly, like his fills are really good. Like that's one thing I've always maintained, despite all the jokes about him not being able to play drums anymore. Like for like the last 20 years or so, his fills are like incredible, especially live. Like he's got like some of the best, my favorite like drum fills. Just listening to him is just awesome.
Yeah.
So
yeah, they were amazing, dude. I mean, it's a spectacle to see, honestly. Definitely one of the most memorable shows I think I've ever witnessed. Is there anything else?
Not really. I had the thought that like maybe just because we missed them, maybe that I kind of want to like go see Avenged Sevenfold next time they come through, since we missed them. Just because it's like, because I do genuinely enjoy their like new album. I mean, I like a lot of their stuff, so it's like we didn't really give them a chance the last time we saw them. First off, that was at the end of a festival, and so it's like, whatever. But it's like I want to like just see what they're about.
Yeah.
As a live band, which I hear they're really good. So
yeah, I mean, they played at Rock Allegiance, and they were awesome. Except they just completely tanked their set with like songs that nobody gave a shit about, which was unfortunate. But otherwise, they were really good. So I wish they would have played too, because I would have loved to see how they compared to Metallica. Because them, like when they headlined at Rock Allegiance, I mean they were a spectacle to see too. I would have loved to see them compare, type of thing. But yeah, babies, children. Yeah. Anyways, go see Metallica. They're a lot of fun. Thanks for watching. See you later.
Bye.